What is Angular? Angular क्या है? So we can discuss what is Angular. Angular question. So we can define Angular is a JavaScript framework. Angular is a JavaScript framework. JavaScript framework. So if we talk about Angular in more discussion, then we can say that it is a framework of JavaScript and maintained by Google. It is an open source front-end web framework. It is open source front-end web framework. So if I talk about another question, so we can how familiar with Angular. So and if I talk about another question more important, what is Angular used for? So another important question is what is Angular used for? So Angular is mainly used for developing a single page application. Angular is mainly used for developing single page application. Single page application. If we talk about more on Angular, then we can say that since Angular provides developer with ready-made design model, and if we talk about another question, what the difference between Angular and AngularJS? So another question is what is the difference between Angular and AngularJS? So the biggest difference between Angular and AngularJS is that I have found the biggest difference between Angular and AngularJS, or sometimes we can say that Angular JavaScript, that I found are within the command and operating language. That I have found. operating language, and architecture of it. So there are three main important interview question for Angular, and there are lots of question for Angular interview question. So we can turn the page for more question. So if we talk about another important question, then can you describe what is the scope of Angular? It is more important question. What scope is in Angular? So scope of Angular, if we talk about scope of Angular, then scope in Angular is just an object, is just an object that represents the whole application model, that whole application. Scope are referred to reference the execution content of Angular. That's it. This is the maximum answer. That's the enough for this question. So if we talk about another question, then what does data binding refer to? It means what is the means of data binding? So another important question is what does data binding refer to? So data binding can be one of the most important feature of Angular. So we can say that it is a important feature or most important feature for Angular. Data binding can be one of the most important features of Angular. Data binding is a feature of Angular. This is because data binding allow for communication between the DOM. So if we talk about more on data binding, then we can say that this is because data binding allow for communication between the DOM that you have developing and the component that you are in the components. And it consists of 4 main forms. If we talk about more on data binding, then it consists for men. The form are two-way properties. The forms are two-way properties. Event and string interpolation and data binding. Event and string interpolation, data binding. So that is the enough for this question. What does data binding refer to? And if we talk about another question, so can you tell me what directive are in Angular? So this is another important question for Angular interview question. So we can discuss about another important question. Can you tell me what directives are in? I think all of you see all the answers clearly. So we can discuss on directive in Angular. Directive in Angular work to connect a specific behavior. So if we talk about directive in Angular work to connect a specific behavior to various elements. A specific here to various elements with the DOM. Within the DOM. So, and if we talk about another important question, then we can turn the page. And another important question is what is what is ng model? It is very important question for any student or for any preparation, right? So 6 and this is the 7. What is ng model? ng what is ng model? So if we talk about ng model, then we can say the ng model is used to detail how each part of application fit together. ng model is used to detail how each part of an application fit together. Every application will have at least a single ng model. that I can bootstrap to launch and run that I can launch and run that. So thank you so much for this important topic on Angular. These are most important Angular interview questions. So thank you once again.